Night football in Philadelphia. No A.J. Brown for that man. Kirk Cousins, meanwhile, looking for his first win as a Falcon. We're a minute and a half to go in the third. Falcons are down by 1, and Darnell Mooney shakes free.
The rare all-out blitz. You can't lose inside if you're in coverage. GJ does. 6 points. Nice flip.
Atlanta goes for the 2. Don't get it. So they're up 15-10, and that's important. Fourth quarter, 3rd and 2. Jeff, Jalen Hurts can still do this.
He did it all night. Showed he wanted to get his team in the best position, would use his legs to convert, get that thing going, got to finish the drive.
3rd and 3 from the 5. Can they finish the drive? Saquon catches that one, but the play will be reviewed, and he's ruled down just short of the end zone, which means the tush push. Jeff, can they still do it?
You got to love it, baby. I hate it.
I do not love it.
Eagles go for the 2.
Haters.
And they get it. They're up by 3. Falcons are going to go for it on a 4th and 1 in their own territory, and they are stuffed. So they turn it over on downs. That should have given the Eagles the win, and so should this. Falcons have no timeouts left. This is a 3rd and 3. The throw to Barkley, and he drops it.
Classic roll pass. Barkley has an opportunity to put the game away and drops it.
There's really not much else to be said.
Yes. No.
There's so much to be said, and we will in a moment. But the point is, the Eagles don't get the first down, and they stop the clock. They kick a field goal. It's a 6-point game. And then right down the field go the Falcons, led by Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, 2-minute drill. You keep the defense in basic formations, and you pick them apart.
1st and 10 from the 38. Matt Ryan was on with Peyton and Eli saying the quarterback is most comfortable in this scenario, the 2-minute drill, just running basic plays, getting out of bounds. 38 seconds left, 3rd and 5. How about the move from Drake London?
Drake London is a big man, and he shouldn't be able to move like that. That's unfair.
Jeff, how about this offensive play to win the game?
Watch the shake right here.
Get your eyes out the backfield.
Hey, that was me. My Achilles and my calves are staying out on the goal.
So much prettier than a tush push.
But you can't do that celebration because it's a 15-yard penalty, which means Younghoe Koo needs to kick a very long extra point.
No problem.
To put them ahead, but he does make it, so it's a 22-21 game. Next Eagles drive, 1st and 10 at the 43. Final half minute. Can Jalen be the hero? That's the question. The answer is no.
The safeties back there on that team are exceptional. Right there, Jesse Bates finishes it.
And that's your ball game. The pressure on the quarterback, an unbelievably dramatic finish. Falcons get the win by 1. And then after, the aftermath.
Dropped the ball. Let my team down today. Shouldn't have put the defense in that position. Made that catch. Game's over. Relax. Went back to my old habits and just got to go back and get back to work.
Were you surprised with the play call? Did you expect a running play? Or?
No. Once I knew it, I thought it was a great play call. I just got to make a catch.
On the calls, though, Kellen's making, that
Kellen's
pass,
the offense coordinator that makes. Kellen's offense coordinator makes the calls. Yeah, if you're trying to stir that up.
Rule him on those calls.
Yeah, I'm the head coach.
Okay.
Nick Sirianni might have just saved the Atlanta Falcons season.
It's that big.
And I think he definitely changed the course of Kirk Cousins' season. And it's not because that one play did so much, but that one play allowed the Atlanta Falcons a chance to go be great.
Fasten your seatbelts, people. We're not going anywhere for a while. That one play to this point is the most interesting decision that has been made through 2 weeks of the NFL season. The decision to throw it on that 3rd and 3 to Barkley. Jeff, what did you think of the decision?
I like it. He's an aggressive coach. Sirianni's an aggressive coach. Kellen Moore gets a great call. Your guy dropped it. If he catches that ball and converts the first down, everybody's talking about, genius play. Had everybody stuck in the middle, dumped it out to their best offensive player on the edge. He converts it, game over. They put the fork in him when they had to, but now we're going to second guess every decision made because the guy drops the ball.
That's 1 vote for I loved it. Dan Graziano, what do you think of the play call?
The play worked. I think it was a fine play call. The running back has to catch the ball. You go out in free agency, sign this guy to a monster contract, outbid other teams for it. I've been listening in 6 months, people telling me this guy's going to be the difference between a team that going to the Super Bowl and not. And he just cost them a game, an important game. That head-to-head loss could matter to them, right? When you talk about playoff seeding down the road, I mean, that he has to come up big in that situation, and he did not. And to his credit, He admitted it.
That's 2 votes for the play call. Is it unanimous?
No. I mean, I understand the point that you guys are making, and it's hard to argue against an open player in that situation. But you have 2 downs, and you're the only team that has the unbeatable short yardage play. So run the ball on 3rd down. You'll get 1, you'll get 2. Run it again on 4th down. If you miss the field goal, your win probability is still at 90%. But if you convert, it's over. It seems odd at that point. So the play works. I can't disagree with you. However, then on 4th down, go for it.
Right.
And if you're planning to go for it on 4th down, go ahead and run it right there on 3rd down and then throw it on 4th down. It seems like that Nick Sirianni didn't have complete control in that situation, and he wanted us to know that, which I also thought was an ugly decision.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there. What you're saying is that Sirianni in that situation wanted to make it clear, yes, Kellen Moore made that play call, not me.
He said, he asked him about the decision in that situation, and he said, yeah, Kellen Moore made that call if you want to stir something up. You stand up there and you say, yeah, we messed up. I should have done something different. Or you say, I stand by what we did. And if they say, was that Kellen Moore's decision? You say, no, I'm the head coach. The buck stops with me. I should have run out there and caught it for Saquon Barkley.
There's so many ways to unpack this stuff, Jeff, because I always look at it like blackjack, right? So just because something works doesn't mean it was the right thing to do, and just because something doesn't work doesn't make it the wrong thing to do.
Right.
You're making these decisions ahead of time.
Correct.
So you're playing the probability of it. So what Dominique is saying is, if you're going to kick the field goal, then it's probably a good call. But making the decision to kick the field goal itself is probably not. You're probably better off leaving them stuck down there with much less time in a 3-point game than giving them 90 seconds to come down the field when a touchdown still beats you.
Okay.
That, I think, makes sense.
Okay, I understand the conversation we're having about analytics and should you do and what would that give them. The Falcons also walked that ball down really quickly to go score the touchdown. So
and we blame the defense.
The Eagles.
Well, yeah, you got to blame the defense
Eagles
at least a little.
Have given up the most fourth quarter points in the NFL in the last 2. So it's not like they stood by and said, hey, we stopped everybody in the fourth quarter. So if he's going to do what he did, I don't have a problem with the aggressive call on 3rd down. Kick the field goal. Now you're up 6. They can't tie you. They have to go score. And by the way, Atlanta wasn't just putting the ball in the end zone all night. They were moving the ball, but they were playing good red zone defense. So Sirianni's going, hey, I'm going to let my defense go play and finish the game out, which most defensive players would want. I know you don't, but you're saying we're up 6. That's what we are.
We can take it. You're the one who's supposed to be offensive lineman and decide, you know what, on 3rd and 3, I'm not big enough, I'm not strong enough, throw the ball. But Greeny, to your blackjack point is a good one. The point is, in blackjack, when you make the decisions, you have to make them consistently.
Yes.
They made an aggressive decision, then made a passive decision. If you're going to be passive, then go ahead and run the ball.
Right.
If you're going to be aggressive and throw it, then go for it on 4th down. It's like you don't know who you want to be.
They kicked a field goal earlier in the game in another situation where you thought they would usually go for it. So I wonder if, being down A.J. Brown, I wonder if that factors into their decision-making on what they're able to do. But, yeah, I mean, they're down. To me, it can be very easy to blame the coaching decisions, blame the officials, all that kind of thing. Sometimes it's the player's fault.
Right.
That guy's got to catch that ball.
Facts.
That defense has to make a stop. I mean, the opportunity was there for the Eagles to win this game.
That can be true at the same time as Don being right. And
that's true.
We're having 2 separate conversations at one time. One of them is, was it the right decision? That's different from should it have worked, because it absolutely should have worked. The play call worked. It fooled the defense. Barkley is as open as a person can be, and the ball is as well thrown as it can be. So it clearly should have worked. Look, I mean, I never say this because I never put myself. I would have called it. It happened.
Now we've gotten out of control.
Okay, fair enough.
Those guys were pretty close.
Let me redact that. Let me pretend I didn't say that.
Pretty hard.
He would have caught that 99 out of 100 other times, and to your point, to his credit, he takes the blame for it as he should. The play should have worked. It doesn't mean it was the right thing to do.
It's a good play. It's an old classic roll pass, Bill Walsh offense. You're supposed to run it in red zone situations like that. So no one hates the idea of the play. My problem is, and to your point, yes, I'm not absolving Saquon of his responsibility, but the coach's job is to give you the best opportunity to win, and the best opportunity to win is not.
Okay, see, so the question on the screen, the answer is no. You don't go for it on 4th down with 1:39 to go.
Yeah.
You go for it on 4th down with something like 50 seconds to go because you ran the ball on 3rd down.
Exactly.
Let the clock run down, and then you can make whatever play call you want on 4th down. At that point, if you want to throw a pass, throw a pass.
But I mean,
do anything but kick the field goal with 1:40 left. They did the two things they did not fit together. I think is what what makes sense to me.
You essentially took 3 points and gave them 30 yards and about 40 seconds on the clock.
So,
that's not a fair trade in my mind. In my mind, I would rather you guys can keep those 3 points, but I'm going to keep these 30 yards and I'm going to take 40 more seconds off the clock.
It occurs to me we have somebody at this table who's actually done the job of NFL head coach. And so, like, I'm wondering, like, in that moment, like, he's not thinking worst case scenarios, right?
No.
He's thinking about scoring a touchdown and being up 10 points and not being able to lose at that point, right?
He is an aggressive play caller, has stayed that way. He's won games that way. He's not going to back down from it. In the first quarter, they could have kicked the field goal, and they decided to go for it. If you look at the way that he coaches, at that moment, he was looking to put the fork in him. He calls the right play,
but I think
they don't execute it. Like, we can beat it, but the reality is—
I think this is— I'll take it to another place. I think this speaks to part of the issues that this staff has had, is they wanted to, and we read the stories in the offseason, was we need to get Nick Sirianni away from the offense, was the story in the offseason.
Right.
But in a situation like this, you need some sort of communication. You need an understanding, because I don't think if you understand we're going for it on 4th down that you run that play. And I think after they threw it, they then were like, oh, now we got to kick it. That's the problem. And I think the head coach's job is obviously to design plays and pick plays that are going to work in that situation. But it's also to be thinking about what's going to happen the next play and the next play. And it seems like they were not prepared.
They definitely had that. As they're moving the ball down, they've already had that conversation.
Right.
They're already having it in the headset. Whoever's up top with him talking about green that you hear us talk about all the time now on our, as they're analyzing.
No, what does
games.
that mean? Tell me what that means.
It's talking about the percentage you have to win by doing something. Is it giving you a better chance to win, or should you not do it? And they're talking through, hey, coach, it's better to kick the field goal here. It's better to do this. Now, he still ultimately has to make the decision, but I guarantee you when they got to that situation, he already knew on 4th down I'm going to kick the field goal when he tried to go convert the pass on 3rd down.
Okay, then that makes no— if that's true, here's the thing. Okay, hold on. I'm not going to a break, so you can just stop talking to me because I'm not going anywhere. If that's true, here's the real problem they have, okay? You got one guy head coaching the team who thinks he should be calling the plays. You got another guy calling the plays, and the plays they called did not match up with that. You don't throw that pass if you're going to kick the field goal. Right. You throw that pass if you're going to go for it on 4th down, which suggests—
No, that's not true.
Yes, it
is not
It
true.
should be. That's the problem. It should be
The
true.
point is, it seems to me that one guy is calling the plays and the other guy is making the decision on 4th down, and those two things didn't go together.
There is a difference for a coach to think you're up 6 versus you're up 3. And by the way, they've done it one time tonight. And so how do we limit them from going to score a touchdown? You're not just playing offense. You're playing, he is coaching an entire team, offense, defense, and special teams. He has a belief that they will stop the Falcons from driving it down, punching it in the end zone, and then converting. That's just he's thinking about it in totality, not one phase of the game.
The thing is, the job of the players is incredibly difficult. Making decisions are difficult too, but that's an easier job. We can definitively say that some of these decisions at the end of the game lessen their chance of win.
Okay, but that goes to the first quarter as well.
They're NFL players playing against other NFL players. Sometimes the other guys are going to win. Right. But I need every percentage point you can get me. I need you to give it to me.
If that's the fact, he should have kicked the field goal in the first quarter.
Okay, it's fine.
Okay,
we can
but
go
I'm
through
saying, so you go that whole game can go back to you can't play it backwards. The bottom line was he stays aggressive. He does what he does every time. So he plays blackjack like y'all wanted to play.
That's not aggressive.
He didn't stay aggressive is the point. The point that we're saying is he went aggressive and then he didn't.
So he trusted his defense to be up 6 versus 3.
Right, that's a terrible decision. Let me show you, Danny. I'm sorry, but let me just show you. Put up A32. Trusting your defense to hold a lead in the final 2 minutes is the last thing on earth they should be doing. This was the Eagles' 4th loss since last season after holding a lead in the final 2 minutes of regulation. No team has more. In addition, going back to last year, their defense has allowed 140 points inside the final 2 minutes of each half. That is the most in the NFL. For context, the Chiefs have allowed 28 such points versus 140. That factors in too.
Let me show you what I just did right there. I'm going to turn this cup over. We'll tee it up right here. Himbo gave him that stat. Himbo's been mad all morning. Himbo's like, I got something for you, Greeny. I set that ball right here. He just took that thing 3 feet.
Go ahead, Danny.
It gets to the point I was making about how you're not thinking worst case scenario. You're thinking my defense has held up in the red zone all night.
All night.
And I would much rather have them have to get a touchdown than just get into position for a field goal. Everybody in the league's making 59-yard field goals now. You don't have to go very far to tie that game. So he's not thinking about 140 points in the last 2 minutes over the last couple years. He's thinking about tonight, my defense has prevented touchdowns all but one time.
You also have the best offensive line in football.
Yeah,
and
you do?
Running the ball pretty effectively, and you have a quarterback who is an effective runner also.
We're going to do that.
They were stacked in the box.
Okay,
they gave them the best play.
I'm good with it.
Your $12.5 million a year running back has to catch a ball. I mean,
you could hand it to him too, but you have to understand, I'm with you. He was open. He should have caught it. But when you throw the ball, you have to take into account there's a chance that it will be incomplete. If it is incomplete, you've given the other team a timeout. At that point, I think you go for it and have the team backed up. Then you get behind that offensive line and you gain 3 yards. I'm with you. We can't argue. Saquon should catch that ball. But we do have to point out the fact that the decisions that they made after that lessened their probability.
The head coach's job is to put them in the best position to win. They gave them the best play to win the game on 3rd down. They didn't execute it. They kicked a field goal. They gave their defense the best chance to win the game by being up 6. They didn't get the job done. At some point, to Graz's point, defense has got to make a play. Saquon's got to make a play. There's a lot of blame to go around. You can't put it at 3-1.
No one's disputing that. Look, let's put it this way. Look, you were a head coach for half a season. I've been the head coach of my team for 50 years.
No doubt.
I've just done it as an unpaid advisor. But I've been coaching them my entire life. And I'm telling you right now, I think they got this completely backwards. There's a couple of different reasons why. To your point, I think teams also play it very differently. The Falcons, meaning, if all they need is a field goal to tie it.
Absolutely.
Which means your chances of losing in regulation, I think, are greatly diminished by the other team being able to tie you. In this case, they had to go all the way down the field and win. And by the way, I was watching your buddy, Mr. Peyton Manning, Mr. Best Friend over there, Peyton and Eli, and I mentioned it in the highlight. Matt Ryan is on there, and Matt Ryan is saying, when a quarterback is on a new team, that situation, the 2-minute drill, is where he's at his most comfortable. Because there's none of the other, you can explain this better than I can, right? But there's none of this other stuff going on. You're just running the most basic plays you have.
Yeah, you've quieted the noise. You're usually staying in a static formation. You know where every player is going to be. You have design plays. There's usually 4 to 5 plays that you're going to run. Defense usually knows them. You know them. It's who can execute them best. But for a quarterback, it's a definite comfort. And especially, by the way, when he's getting no pressure. That's the other point now. Be real. They are the worst team in the NFL with QB pressure. The Eagles are. So, of course, Cousin feels good. He didn't look really good against Pittsburgh with T.J. Watt camped out in his backfield.
All the more reason to go for it on 4th down. But the 2-minute drill against the defense is particularly difficult because we don't huddle and we don't have very many coverages that you can reliably get to. So, you can't substitute guys. And so it's a lot easier sometimes for offenses to move the ball in that situation.
So they had no pass rush last night, the Eagles did, which leads one to say that Hassan Reddick has ruined 2 defenses this year and hasn't even played. Hassan Reddick is the problem